Hello, we are team number 7 with Layla, Madeline, Karen, Danica, Thao, and Kirsten, and our group presentation is on the effects of immigration policies on wellness.
In April of 2018, the U.S. Attorney General, under the order of Trump, ordered prosecutors along the border to adopt a zero-tolerance policy for illegal border crossings. Under this policy, parents traveling with their children, as well as people who were seeking asylum, were prosecuted. In addition, federal authorities were required to separate children from their parents, relatives, or anybody else accompanying them. While parents were sent to federal prisons, children were sent first to Customs and Border Protection facilities, then child immigrant shelters. The Associated Press visited one of these sites and described that one cage had 20 children in it, and they used foil sheets as blankets. Many parents who were detained revealed that they were not given any information on where their children were. As reported by Homeland, 2,342 children have been separated at the border from 2,206 adults from May 5th to June 9th. While Trump signed an executive order to end separation, the attacks are still continuing today. Just recently, U.S. agents closed a border crossing from Tijuana and fired tear gas at any migrant who attempted to cross. The issue has not been resolved, and the health of both the children and parents is at risk due to the trauma of the situation. For this reason, it becomes an important public health issue as the wellness of an underserved population is challenged.
Figure 1 outlines the steps of California border control when processing families who are seeking asylum into the United States. The Trump administration's federal policies have contributed to this emergency situation. Seeking refuge at the U.S. border is not illegal, and the United States 1980 Refugee Act outlines the legal obligations of the United States to protect refugees. The principle of non-refoulement, or the idea that an individual who seeks refuge in the United States should not be sent back to a country if it means that they will encounter serious threat to their life or freedom, is customary in international law. However, the United States continues to violate this principle, as well as the right of individuals who seek asylum within the United States. An estimated 70% of all immigrants are processed through the Rio Grande Valley Sector Center in Texas. The journey to the center is often traumatic. The facilities are chilly and lack basic hygiene and sanitary products. Additionally, clean water and food are not always available, and processing occurs in chain-linked and locked enclosures. At this facility, refugees are organized by gender and age. This means that toddlers are often separated from their caregivers, siblings may be separated from each other, and husbands are separated from their wives. These relationships are commonly the only sources of social and emotional support that refugees have.
The forced parent-child separation can be a very traumatic event, especially for children. It negatively affects their mental health and causes psychological disorders such as anxiety, distress, and PTSD. The mental health of children whose parents are legal in the United States are undocumented without contact with ICE has been compared to the children whose parents have been deported or detained. And according to parental reports, symptoms of PTSD were higher in children whose parents were either deported or detained. Similarly, these children were also suffering from internalizing behaviors which are common in children who are depressed. Externalizing behaviors have also been reported by teachers. It shows that immigration policies that cause forced parent-child separation have devastating effects to the mental health of children who were involved.
There has been heightened anxiety in correlation with increased policing since Trump has taken office. Donald Trump, using his anti-immigrant rhetoric, campaigned in 2016 and stated we needed more restrictive immigration enforcement. By comparing data in 2015 and 2016 by looking at deportations and racialized policing, a shift can be seen: the structural racism towards Latinos. The effects of immigration policies are not contained solely on the individuals it is targeting, which are those who are classified as high priority. Due to the immigrant policing, Latino communities are now exercising caution when it comes to their relationships with institutions. The racialized policing makes Latinos feel like they are being hunted by law enforcement, and this produces negative health outcomes such as psychological distress, chronic activation of stress response systems, as well as the restriction in access to health-promoting services which are detrimental to mental and physical health. Figure 2 shows the dynamic systems of structural racism found by researching women's perception of their environment in a northern border community. Their surveillance and discriminatory actions that are promoted by government institutions negatively affects the women's health. The image of the isolated toddler staring at her mother while her mother is being detained became the face of family separation at the border. Soon, Time magazine released a cover article with the same little girl and Donald Trump staring down at her with only the words, "Welcome to America."
Following the election of President Donald Trump, immigrant policing practices have increased and become stricter at the U.S.-Mexico border. Separation of family members has severe health consequences for the entire Latino population, not just those directly involved. The increase of these activities threatens the health of Latinos, who are the youngest and largest ethnic minority in the U.S. Separation at the border should be dealt with in a more humane manner. To prevent worsening emotional situations, individuals and institutions should provide a more welcoming environment and be more understanding. Policing should not be a racialized issue. Future research should focus on the long-term implications of separating immigrant children from their families. We believe that this could lead to long-term emotional and mental health issues.
That concludes our presentation on the effects of immigration policies on wellness. Our works cited is listed in the bottom right-hand corner, and thank you for listening.